Hello everyone, I am Lionel Alsalde, a third-year student of Teacher Education Program taking up Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. And today, we will discuss the literary works of Samuel Taylor Coleridge and William Blake during the Romantic period. In this video, we will have a short discussion about the introduction of Romanticism, the authorship of Samuel Taylor Coleridge and William Blake, and after that, we will have a literary analysis in one of their notable works. So for Samuel Taylor Coleridge, we will have The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. And for William Blake, we'll have A Poison Tree. To start with, Romantic period or Romanticism spun roughly in the year 1790 to 1850. The word Romanticism is derived from a French word romant, which means a romantic story told in verse. Romanticism focuses on emotions and the inner life of the writer. The following are the characteristics of Romanticism. First, we have celebration of nature, focus on the individual and spirituality, celebration of isolation and melancholy, interest in the common man, idealization of women, and personification and pathetic fallacy. Aside from Coleridge and Blake, the following are also the prominent writers during the Romantic period. First, we have William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth is a friend of Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and in fact, their collaboration in writing lyrical ballads heralded the English Romantic movement. Second, we have John Keats, Percy Bysshe Shelley, and Mary Shelley. Now, speaking about Coleridge, he was born on October 21, 1772, at Ottery, St. Mary, Devonshire, England, and died on July 25, 1834, at Highgate, near London. His lyrical ballads, as I've said, written with William Wordsworth, heralded the English Romantic movement, and his Biographia Literaria in the year 1817 is the most significant work of general literary criticism produced during the Romantic period. Moving on, William Blake, on the other hand, was an English poet, writer, and printmaker. He was born on November 28, 1757, and died on August 12, 1827. Blake is now considered a seminal figure in the history of the poetry and visual arts of the Romantic Age. Although Blake was considered mad by contemporaries for his idiosyncratic views, he is held in high regard by later critics for his expressiveness and creativity, and for the philosophical and mystical undercurrents within his work. His paintings and poetry have been characterized as part of the Romantic movement and as pre-Romantic. One of the notable works of Samuel Taylor Coleridge is the story about the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Now let's discuss the plot summary. In part 1, the mariner stopped the young guy on his way to a wedding. And at the moment that the mariner stopped the young guy, he told a story about an ocean voyage with a sailing crew. But unfortunately, the ship stuck or trapped in ice, and as the albatross or bird passed, the ice broke and the crew was able to sail again with the albatross following them. But the mariner shot the albatross for no reason. And because of that, in part 2, as the mariner killed the albatross or the bird, that made his fellow crew got angry to him because they believe that the bird brings fortune. However, this belief changed when they sailed into strange water and thick fog, and suffering from thirst that drove them to madness, the man hanged the bird on mariner's neck. In part 3, The mariners spied a ghostly ship piloted by Death and Life in Death. The two figures roll the dice to know who will take the mariner's soul. Death won. That is why Death took the lives of the crew, leaving Mariner the only alive person in the ship. Being the only alive person in the ship, or the only survivor, was not easy for the ancient mariner. He has no food and water, but still he survived. Why do you think so the mariner survived? Well, it is because of the help of Life in Death. Life in Death is the one who helped Mariner to survive. In the ship, the mariner saw the sea serpents swam in the ocean, and that gave him realization how beautiful the creation of God. And because of that, he was able to pray, but still he was not absolved to his sin. The moment that he killed the bird, he sinned against both nature and God. And even if he already prayed, he was not still absolved to his sin. In fact, this lead him to have a penance, and later on we will know what is his penance. In part 5, the mariner seeks for rain that he can drink because he is so thirsty. Luckily, the storm approached and the ship sailed on. The dead crew members helped in sailing the ship with angels that took over their bodies. In part 6, the mariner woke up. The ship appeared at his harbor with the crew sailing it. The spirits inhabiting their bodies leave and the crew members collapse, making them truly dead. In part 7, as the mariner reached the land, he told his story and that made him feel better as his penance. The penance of the mariner is to tell his story because if he won't, then he will feel an unbearable pain. That is why he need to tell his story to everyone who need to hear it. Now, let's have further analysis about this story, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. So, this story or is a story within a story. Remember that the plot of the story was told by the main character in the story. That is why it is called the story within the story. And the word rhyme in the title is an alternative spelling of rhyme. However, it could also mean frost and icy substance that can form on sails and ships. The following are the characters found in the story. First, we have Wedding Guest. So, Wedding Guest is the young man that the mariner stopped while on his way to wedding. Second, we have the mariner or the ancient sailor, the albatross, the innocent creature killed by the mariner, and Life in Death, the one who helped mariner to survive. The setting of the story is obviously in Antarctica, and the theme is sublime. It is when the mariner realized the beauty of nature and God's hand as he saw the serpents in the water. Then he was suddenly able to pray and the curse was broken. Another notable work during the Romantic period was the poem of William Blake entitled A Poison Tree. Now, what I like about this poem is it's not too lengthy, it's it's direct and easy to understand. Now, without so much further ado, allow me to read it for you. A Poison Tree by William Blake. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow, and I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears. And I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. And it grew both day and night till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And unto my garden stole, when the night had veiled the pole, In the morning, glad I see my foe outretched beneath the tree. See, the poem is not long, and it is full of emotion, you know, and it is because of the imagery found in this poem. So what are these imagery, or what are the words that gives us an imagery in this poem? It was the word angry, and as well as the word rat. Now, for further analysis about this poem, the major themes are hatred, anger, and revenge. The tone is angry and hatred. As what you can observe, the persona in the poem is angry. The setting is in the garden where the tree grows, and the following are the narrative devices present in the poem. First, we have alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of some same consonant sounds in the same line. For example, I told my rat did end. Second, we have allusion. Allusion is a belief and an indirect reference of a person, place, thing, or idea of historical, cultural, political, or literary significance. In this poem, garden, apple, and tree are the allusions of Adam, Eve, and Garden of Eden. Next, we have metaphor. It is a figure of speech in which an implied comparison is made between the objects different in nature. There is only one extended metaphor used in this poem. It is used in the second line of the third stanza. For example, till it bore an apple bright. Here, the apple is a metaphor of fruit of his grudge. Next, we have symbolism. Symbolism is using symbols to signify ideas and qualities, giving them symbolic meanings different from literal tree symbolizes his wrath and anger, whereas garden is the symbol of the heart where the hatred is natured or nurtured. So the symbol of garden is the heart of the persona, and the tree there symbolizes his grudge or anger. So in other words, the persona has hatred within his or her heart. Lastly, we have imagery. Imagery used to make readers perceive things with their five senses. William Blake has used visual imagery throughout the poem to make his reader create a mental picture such as, and it grew, bore, day and night, till it bore an apple bright. My foe outstretched beneath the tree. So those are the examples of imagery or visual imagery found in the poem. Talking about the historical background or influence of these great literary works of Coleridge and Blake, well, both since these literary works came from Romantic period, we can see that these literary works possess some of the characteristics of Romanticism. First, we have the love of nature, focus on individual and spirituality, and focus on one's emotion. In comparison to that, we can see or we can observe that the work of Samuel Taylor Coleridge focuses on individual love of nature, individual, and spirituality. Because the story, the rhyme of the ancient mariner, it talks more about nature. Remember, an ocean voyage, the albatross killed by the mariner. It talks about nature and spirituality. It is when the mariner killed the albatross. He sinned against nature and God. And when we talk about the work of Blake, A Poison Tree, it focuses more on emotion. And that is one of the characteristics of Romanticism or the literatures in Romantic period. It focuses on emotion. The persona in his poem has hatred. The tone is angry. In general, these literary works are great and recommendable to read. And I think that's it for today. Again, this is Lionel Alsalde, and thank you for watching.